Cool. Welcome to Viewcast, everyone. Today we've got Steve, Bridge, Reese, and myself, and we're going to be talking about previously unsolved problems that AI is solving in the world of L&D. So I'm just going to throw that topic out there and see who wants to jump on it first. Steve?
I think let's give someone else a chance to talk first before.
That's very
Steve
noble
just
of
takes
you.
over.
Very noble of you.
Exactly.
Go on, Bridge. Go ahead.
I think there's so many different problems, right? We can talk about languages, we can talk about understanding content, we can talk about, enhancing or enriching content, but also personalizing learning, personalizing the ability to give someone access to knowledge a lot faster, to give people access to data a lot faster. There's so many different things. And it's one of those changes that kind of comes along once or twice in a lifetime that will really enhance whether it's learning or whether it's engaging with content and so on.
Yeah, I think we've always been chasing this idea of truly personalised learning, but I suppose the problem that we've always had is there's always been quite a big overhead from an administration perspective, content creation perspective. There's a lot of work that needs to go into creating different versions of the same content, same video, same document, to be able to give people a truly personalised experience. And I think, especially with the generative AI aspect of this, there's just so much opportunity here to truly allow us to deliver an experience that means that if you prefer to learn in certain ways, or certain, you have a certain time limit or something along those lines, or, you performed well or not so well when you've been thinking about or taking different courses and assessments, we can make something that's truly special for you as well. That's never been possible when it comes to digital learning before. That's always been the case with classroom training. When you can have somebody that's truly adapting to you. I mean, Steve, that's your background as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think the two big ones to begin with, right? I think one is, I think it does allow the ideas that we wanted to solve 10 years ago. And I think we were big believers in things like, Bob Mosher's 5 moments of need and 70-20-10. And I think although we got clients that are living that in a really cool way, in a great way, I think the challenge to do that at an industrial level has been, how do you get the content into a format where performance support can be performed on that content? So if you look at the principles of 5 moments or 70-20-10, they're all about the concepts that not to try to brain stuff everything up front, like the old school model. It's not about putting 50 books of knowledge in your head. It's about trying to provide more of that knowledge at point of need, and therefore train less, learn more type thing, and learn more in the flow. The problem has been that the cost of transforming that content into a learning flow ready type information. So with FuseSchool, we had to recreate 1,000 videos and create 1,000 videos upfront to do that. If you are a manufacturer and you've got a training manual, you've got to take that 500-page or 50-page training manual into a new content format. And you've got to do that for all your content historically and going forward. So I think now with generative AI, the exciting bit about it is it allows industrializing of those concepts. So the fact that you can throw your 500-page manual in there without having to do anything towards it, and people can ask questions of it. So that concept's huge, right? Because I think these ideas around 70-20-10 and 5 moments were right, but the technology up until now hasn't allowed them to be really easy to actually adopt at scale because the cost of transformation's too high. I think now what we're going to see, what we have seen, and what we're bringing to market is the elimination of that cost, which means that now those principles of transforming learning into these learning philosophies is now possible because of this advent of AI and specifically generative AI.
And do you think that's like, obviously it's linked to L&D here, but like how far behind are we sort of like outside of L&D? If you look at how Google and ChatGPT have launched their stuff, how far away do you think we are from integrating that into an L&D space and having that sort of be adopted by L&D?
Well, maybe I'll pass on to the team on that one.
Yeah, well, I suppose when we started to build our new search engine and knowledge intelligence engine, the vision that we always have was to create a Google-like search experience. And that's still true today as it was 2-3 years ago. I think where we're now getting to is adding the next level of AI over the top of all of the hard work that we've already done when it comes to creating a great search that gives you truly relevant results and gets you to the bit of content that you actually need. But I suppose when it comes to the workflow problem and getting real performance support, it isn't always just about long form bits of content. Sometimes actually it's about just the answer to a question. And so when you think about how you use Google today, you don't always just search for keywords or phrases, you actually ask questions into that as well. That is the next phase of what we're doing at Fuse. And I think there's such a great opportunity there in so many different use cases. I mean, if you think about onboarding, asking questions around, when do I get paid? Where do I find my pay slip? All that basic kind of company information that normally you'll ask a manager or you'll ask, an expert or you'll ask L&D over and over and over again. It can just be captured once and given to people because we've got that level of AI. I think when it really comes to life, though, is when you have product training, service training, where you have a frontline workforce that desperately need answers to information because they're in the middle of doing something, answering a service query or selling something, and being able to ask a question, give accurate information to be able to close that sale or query down, therefore becoming more productive and performing at a higher standard than they normally would. That's the real opportunity. And there's so much of that with our client base that we could really help with. It's really exciting.
I think to summarize that and then put to bridge, I think it's again, what we love about these models where it's moving to learning the flow and perform support, it's really about driving that time to task done well. So, the more people who are being able to get the correct answer in the shortest period of time, when you look at that across frontline workforces, customer training, it means you're able to really prove value in terms of that learning design. But I think the question was architecturally, how close are we, Bridge?
I was just going to say is that the way that Fuse has been built right from the start, ground up, we've always made sure that all of these things are easy to add on, right? So, do we want to enrich content, for example? Do we want to understand content better? Do we want to pass it through an engine so that it tags it better, right? We have all of those capabilities so that the search engine that Reese mentioned, we're then able to extract that content and make content more searchable. We're able to publish a user manual and then ask it questions, and it comes back with generative responses because we've then got the ability to come back and the language model understands the questions, but then it also has the content to create an answer as well. So those are some parts of it. The other parts are the languages that we're looking at, right? So to have a deeper understanding of the language, to bring back more accurate translations, we're really able to plug these new tools in, and we've designed Fuse in a way that some of these tools are easy to swap in and out of.
But just to go a little bit to that previous one, right? So I guess the timing wise, so I guess the architect, I guess the first part is it true to say, I think that in the background, our clients' content has now been indexed in these new AI models?
Yeah. So we've indexed content using really enhanced tagging. We're able to then actually rip out all of that content from whether it's PDF documents or transcripts from videos or what you'll do with this podcast, and you'll be able to ask it a question and it will extract an answer. And we've done that all, from the kind of get-go of the last couple of years.
So just to understand that right. So in essence, the Google capability, the Google technology that we see in google.com is in the background, now sitting there on our client servers across the world. So it's ready to go. And now I guess what we're doing this quarter is adding the front-end interface to the customer base. So Reese, I think to give us a deadline, I think we're talking about a Q1 release. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so it's not really that far away. We're just at the end of Q3 now. So it's all on Bridge's shoulders at the moment to be able to deliver that.
And we're sat here doing a podcast. That's all right. Yeah, you got time. I'm just going to put that mic up for you there, Steve.
Yeah. So maybe that's on the first one. So I guess that's the first massive kind of breakthrough, I think, in terms of being able to release that kind of Google AI side technology towards it. And then, Bridge, you were just teasing with that. I guess what we've now seen in the last year as well is the advance of the acceleration, I think, of other AI models to improve transcription translation.
It is transcription, translation. It's basically tagging content and just understanding content better, but also then creating things like recommendations. So if we want to actually recommend content to users, what do we know about the user? What do we know about the content? And then using AI to actually make those recommendations. So we've been building these indices with all of this knowledge in the past. Now it's the technology is now there to actually present it back to the user.
So it's like all the ideas have been there for a little while, but now, as you say, like software and technology is caught up. So, and it's all like really cool, the fact that all this can happen. But I guess the big question is how can it help support things like scalability and personalization, as you were sort of touching on, Bridge. So,
well, I think scalability is actually one of the key words within that as well, because that's the problem that most L&D teams have had. Of course, you could do this manually. You could create all of this content yourself. You could tag everything yourself. But when you have 100,000 objects, it's very difficult to be able to do that, and certainly to a good enough quality. And I think that's where AI is going to really help us to allow people with really small teams to be able to get all of that out there. And then from the translations perspective, to go even further than that and take one piece of content, but actually allow it to be available in 50 different languages without having to go and pay for all of that, from a third party, or create it yourself 49 different times.
And I think that's the part, I think, because we've had infused AI transcriptions and translation for quite some time, but I think the big thing now is the quality. We're now seeing differences in the new AI models. There means I think we're now going to start to see our customers reduce the cost of using local agencies significantly, and I think some of them, most of our clients would pay probably for more in translation costs in translations than they would actually do for the content creation and the platforms they see. So the ability to reduce that cost by half or 3/4 because the advance we've seen, and it is specifically the last 12 months, I think, especially on voice to text, the accuracy of that now across different languages is a multiplier difference. And likewise, I think with some of the newer models, moving away from Google Translate to other models, we're now seeing the quality level difference of those newer models being significantly better than what we had.
And I suppose the good thing about that, and you're hearing it first before you hear it anywhere else, is that we're in the process of changing. We've looked at that, and we understand that what we've got at the moment in the product was great when we introduced it 3-4 years ago, but actually now it's lagging behind some of the leaders. And what Bridge and I have seen when we've gone around and talked to different products is that there seems to be a common theme, a common set of translation providers. And so we're going to be moving across to them by Christmas.
Well, that's Christmas. We just got a special. You heard that, right?
It's still on Bridge. I'm just making the dates up now, right?
But that's amazing, right? Because I think those models, we have seen the level where the accuracy is so good that I do think actually we'll see a 50 to 70% reduction in translation costs, and it's now moving from not just translating text and transcripts, but also files as well.
I think that's the thing that's really excited us when we, when we've been looking at these different providers, is that it isn't just that speech to text translation or text to text translation. It is now files, because I think that's another thing where sometimes the L&D team don't even create the files. It comes from different parts of the business. So now to be able to take that, but then be able to make it available in 50 languages or 30, 40 languages, whatever it might be, at the click of a button, and then let's call it a couple of minutes, you have 50 different versions of that available for your global audience. That's beautiful. And then going back to that kind of questions and answers bit that we talked about earlier, you can ask a question in any of those 50 languages, and then you'll get the answer in that language because the content's been translated as well. That would take months and months, if not years, to actually create manually.
Resource and cost as well.
And then I think that the next bit, which I think is, we're already working, right, is that final piece of automated translated text to speech. So using AI speech to get towards that. So again, what we're probably seeing is is a huge acceleration in the innovation of technology around text to speech. So to the level of quality where you're not really able to notice the difference between a synthesized voice or a cloned voice, now that we're cloning Dell on a regular basis. But it's almost impossible to notice the difference towards it. So I guess now this final bit of the journey, post after December, will be doing the automated way to press a button for an English video and it's to come back with a Hindi audio without any human interference at a level whereby you're going to be happy with it for probably 95% of your content. And I know for FewSchool, we've already started that process, and because of the quality difference, so the accuracy and the cost benefits towards it, we're now for the first time able to solve that problem of allowing all of that FewSchool content to be delivered in mother tongue. And the same, I think, goes for our customers. So I think that's a huge jump around providing real-time learning, real-time communications into our client base.
I absolutely love how passionate every one of you are for different reasons as well. For Reece from product, Bridge from the tech, obviously you got, and then obviously Steve, you're up here just probably miles away as well. And as we look towards the future as well, well, one thing that I kind of understand, I guess, about the architecture of Fuse is you can just, as you say, plug in and plug out other things. So as things grow and as other companies develop this AI, I guess it's safe to say that you're going to
into bridge. I mean, I think it's a great question, right? And I think the part to bridge, because I think what you re-architect the platform for a couple of years ago has allowed for this. But the fact that actually you can look at a better version of AI, where it's not like we're tied into one. You've built it so that we're able to plug and play.
What's happened is, like, in the marketplace, you've had this like massive democratization of all things AI. People, there are new providers coming out, every week, every month, and you're seeing like new stuff on Product Hunt every week or every month. And I think us now actually catching up and being able to plug those in, because every couple of weeks, Reese and I will see something cool pop up and say, hey, look, this solves such a different market problem that we didn't even think about solving a few months ago. So yeah, we're always like, we don't want to be on the back foot. So we're always looking out for these new things. And also, everything new that we build, we're building in a way that we can plug anything else in,
I think the beautiful part of that is being able to take advantage of other people's innovations as well. I think that's what I love about this. It's the market is moving so fast that if we were to build something or architect it ourselves, by the time we've got that out there, there'll be 3 or 4 different versions on from that. So for us to be able to plug and play with all these different things means that we can always provide the best value to clients. And, as they solve new problems themselves, we've already plugged in, or we actually choose, well, say, that's not so great anymore. The quality is not as good as something else, or it's providing a different solution. You can just literally just plug it into the next one, and away we go. So clients get the benefit of everybody's roadmap, not just ours.